Okay, so I made this tweet about the Netflix making a live action adaptation of My Hero Academia. Here's the thing, I do not like My Hero Academia. I think it's a very slow, boring, and empty show. And I made a long ass thread about almost every fucking reason why I don't like My Hero Academia, and I compared it to so many different fucking things, not just cartoons and sitcoms, which is usually how I compare shit. Like, if I ever need to compare stuff to a show, I always go for the cartoons and sitcoms because that's what I watch. I didn't do that this time. I actually used, other animes most of the time. So yeah, here's me reading this long ass thread because I feel like people on YouTube might also be curious about My Hero Academia opinions and why I'm a fucking idiot. So here's the thing. Netflix is actively working on live action My Hero Academia adaptation. I don't know, maybe two negatives make a positive, like how a game based on a bad movie isn't that bad. Maybe live action of a bad anime might make a watchable and not a slow and boring piece of shit like My Hero Academia. This is a reference to an AVGN video where he played Ghostbusters 2, which Ghostbusters 2 is not a very good movie. That's what I'm mainly referencing is the Ghostbusters 2 thing. Ghostbusters 2 is not a very good movie. It's okay. It's a decent movie, and the NES game that came out of Ghostbusters 2 was decent. And that's also a pretty common trend that, like, for some fucking reason, the shows that are just okay or decent get okay and decent games, but the good shows and movies get the god-awful games. SpongeBob's a bad example because Battle for Bikini Bottom, but almost every other SpongeBob game fucking sucks, besides movie. And Simpsons and Family Guy, which by the time their games came out, the Simpsons game and Family Guy, the video game, and even Family Guy Back to the Multiverse, like, they're all pretty okay games. They actually aren't that bad. But yeah, that's what I was referencing in this first one. I gave My Hero Academia 4 episodes to get good. It is slow and fucking unwatchable. Just a note, Dragon Maid, we already got introduced to everybody and shit actually happens. Even the slower ones like Spy X Family, which I will admit is slow after the 3rd episode, Yor moves in. Yor moves in on the 3rd episode. I think how it goes is the 1st episode, we learn about Lloyd. I never gave like the what the episodes mean like I did with the other shows. But yeah, the 1st episode, we know what Lloyd is. I think 2nd episode, I'm not 100% sure. I think the 2nd episode, he talks to Yor. I think it's either the 1st or 2nd episode where Anya gets adopted. And then the 3rd episode is them preparing and Yor moves in for the interview to let Anya go to school, which I think happens in the 4th episode, and that's when the show actually fucking starts. My Hero Academia, the green-haired guy is still fucking training. I give shows 3 to 4 episodes to see if I like it. 1st episode introduces you to characters. 2nd episode, stuff starts rolling, beginning of the show's plot. 3rd episode, you know the show, and now you know if it's worth your time. That's the main reason why I give shows 3 to 4 episodes, because maybe the 2nd episode's still introducing characters, kind of like Spy X Family. The first 2 episodes, you're still getting introduced to shit. And I think by the 2nd episode, you know the plot. You know the plot of the show. This guy needs to fucking do some shit with another guy, And then the 3rd episode, is when it really starts. The 3rd episode / 4th episode is where everything really starts. Okay, should I actually continue watching after you finish watching the 3rd or 4th episode? All the shows that actually have a plot, like this, which I'm referencing this up here. The episode 1 introduced, 2nd episode starts, 3rd, if it's worth your time. That's what I mean by that. That's what I mean by, has a plot. That's pretty much what I mean by has a plot. And I know that it's not like this and there are shows that I know that are not like this, which is sitcoms and cartoons, but they do something different, like using the first episode to learn the characters, like Family Guy or Community. And then I give an example for Community, because Family Guy's a little bit more complicated. Community, the first few episodes, which Community's first season is very fucking long, and definitely doesn't use the entire season to teach you who the characters are. But, like, the first few episodes, I think Community gives it, like, fucking 10 episodes. Either 5 or 10 episodes to really know these characters. The first episode, we learn about Jeff. He used to be a lawyer. He now has to go to the community college, and he is now forming the study group. The second episode, we learn a little bit more about Pierce. This is Spanish 101. We learn about Chang. We know that Jeff is trying to get with Britta, but Britta switches her card. Same thing with Jeff. And now Jeff is stuck with Pierce. In the third episode, we learn a little bit more Abed, because the third episode is the one where Abed goes to, like, film school. And we learned that Abed is really into films. I think we learned that throughout the first 2 episodes. That's what the first episode always is. Of every show, the first episode is teaching us who the characters are like. Family Guy's the same way. The first episode, we know how the characters are. Peter isn't very smart. Lois is kind of a voice of reason. Stewie's trying to kill her. Brian's the smart one and is a better voice of reason than Lois. Lois is just the housewife. I don't know about Chris. I barely remember the first episode, but I don't really know if Chris really had any lines in that episode. I'm going to be for real. And Meg, Meg cares about how she looks. And that's what shows do. They do this format of 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is how you give a show or movie a chance, according to me, which I would be mentioning up here. But there's very little room, and I just wanted to get this fucking thread over with. To give a show or movie a chance, a movie, you have to watch the entire fucking movie. Let's be for real. But typically with movies, halfway into the movie, that's when, like, shit's already started, or when the plot has started, according on which movie you watch. I think the SpongeBob movie, like halfway through the SpongeBob movie, that's when SpongeBob finally gets the sandwich to drive, and we know that, hey, King Neptune's crown has been stolen by Plankton. They need to go to Shell City to get it back. And other movies, the plot would have already started. We already know what's happening. I think Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle, I think, is where halfway through the movie, they're already, like, fucking halfway there. So it really depends on the movie. UHF by Weird Al, I think Weird Al would have already had the TV station, and I think it would already have been started, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen these movies in a very long time. But yeah. Futurama uses the typical show rules. Episode 1, we learn about Fry, Leela, and Bender, and the professor, and how Fry got there. Fry leans back too far, or gets... I'm pretty sure in later episodes it shows that he gets pushed. This isn't really spoilers to Futurama, because Futurama's already a fucking hard enough show to follow. And I'm pretty sure everything is canonical in Futurama as well, so that's a thing to be aware of. But yeah, Fry leans back too far and falls into the time chamber 1,000 years later. I'm not counting Bender's big score, because that really just fucks up the plot. And all that stuff happens. Episode 2, we learn more characters like Hermes, the Asian girl, which I forgot her name, Amy, and Zoidberg. And they go on their first mission, which is to the moon. And we learn that, like, stuff is happening. That's when we really learn the show is more about space. And it's awesome. The third episode is about Fry getting a house, and that, I feel like that third episode, like, tells you that, hey, there's going to be episodes like these where nothing much really happens. Literally, the entirety of the third episode is that Fry moves in with Bender. It's too tight, so Fry gets a house. Bender can't be there because of his antenna, and then Fry moves in back with Bender, and, finds out Bender has a huge-ass closet, and that's Fry's house. So that's, like, it has those episodes where, you can describe it in a few words, but fills it out with everything. That's pretty much the entirety of episode 3. There wasn't really much to it. My Hero Academia is so incredibly slow that it is not fun to watch and can't get away with episodes containing almost nothing. SpongeBob, Breaking Bad, and Family Guy are allowed to have these episodes because they are funny. Even though nothing happens in them, they still have stuff to keep you entertained. My Hero Academia has green hair training from what I've seen. Don't forget, I've only seen the first 4 episodes. And I fucking shit you not, when I looked up the descriptions of the episodes, which I have down here. Episode 4, he's training. And episode 5 is where the fucking show begins. And he actually goes to the school. And he still doesn't know how to control his fucking shit, you know? That's one of the main reasons why I don't like it. Motherfucker. The 3rd episode is all fucking training with the buff guy. That's pretty much the entirety of the 3rd episode. The 1st episode and 2nd episode are fine. You know, the 1st episode, we get introduced to the green hair guy. I think his name's like Deku or some shit, but I don't care. We get introduced by him, and he doesn't have a special ability. A quirk, which I think is a dumb fucking thing to call it. Just call it a superpower. Because that sounds a lot cooler, but I know it wants to, like, distinguish itself from, like, Superman or some shit. I don't know. I don't think they care. I think they just called it quirks because they could. Because it's quirks about the characters, but, you know, superpowers is cooler. But, yeah, you know, he doesn't have one, but his, like, pinky toes fucked up or something. I don't know. I don't really know. And, you know, he's like, man, I wish I was cool. You know, the 2nd episode, I don't know what fucking happens in the 2nd episode. I don't remember. 3rd episode, he's training. He's training with the buff guy. 4th episode, he's training some fucking more because he wants to get accepted in a damn school. And then the 5th episode is where he's actually in the school, and what I would probably assume the actual fucking plot of the show begins, which sucks ass. And, you know, like, I feel like other shows, like, the 3rd episode of My Hero Academia, fucking nothing happens. That's stupid. That shouldn't be it. Because, like, it's not entertaining. The motherfucker's training. One Piece kind of annoys me, even though I like it. I've seen a few episodes of it. I've seen the point where the stretchy arm guy, I don't remember their names, I'm not good with anime names, but the stretchy arm guy, you know, finally gets on the boat and becomes the captain of his thing, you know. You know, that's the farthest point I think. I think that's like fucking episode like 15 or some shit. I don't know. How I first watched One Piece, I'm gonna get a little off track, but how I first watched One Piece was through the live action on Netflix, which is really fucking good. It's not that bad. And it goes faster than the actual One Piece. But, like, you know, the first season, you know, the first episode of the live-action One Piece is literally, like, 15 episodes of the fucking anime, I'm pretty sure. Because it's always, like, you know, it's going fast, you know? Because, like, oh, his fucking crew, like, by the end of the episode, his fucking crew is done. They're ready to go out on the sea. And One Piece, like, I feel like should get that exception because when I watched One Piece, I think I say this, I already knew it was going to be slow. The fucking thing has 1,000 damn episodes, and I'm pretty sure they still haven't found it. But, yeah. And then I give examples of nothing episodes to shows that I feel like actually are allowed to have the nothing episodes. Family Guy will have Brian and Stewie locked in a vault. And I also wanted to add the other example of the fucking, like, episode of Stewie being with, like, a psychiatrist and literally just talking to him. But, like, those are allowed, but those 2 episodes, the Brian and Stewie vault episode and the episode where Stewie's talking to a psychiatrist, I feel like those are allowed to work because we actually fucking learn shit and they're entertaining. You know, the vault episode has a bunch of stuff to it, you know? And the vault episode, you know, everyone always talks about the god-awful to watch part of Brian eating Stewie's shit. But there's way more than that, you know. The episode also has, you know, just them talking. And even though it might seem boring, like, it's actually kind of fun to watch. Because we get to learn a little bit more about Stewie and Brian as a character. Stewie fucking gets stuck with a coat or something. And Brian keeps a gun in his thing because I don't want to say it. It's because, he has, thoughts of suicide. And it's a very, like, weird episode of Family Guy because there is no cutaway gags. And I feel like that actually adds more to the episode. Now, of course, I am a fucking Family Guy expert. Of course I would say this shit, But there's also the episode of Stewie talking to a psychiatrist, which kind of does have a cutaway in it. But I feel like that episode's a lot more because, we learn a lot more about Stewie, how we learn Stewie likes Hamilton. But also we learn that Stewie has a real voice. And the end of the episode, he he goes to sleep and Brian's like, hey, what's wrong, And Stewie's like, I did something bad. And Brian's like, you want to talk about it? Stewie's like, no. But, like, there's stuff to that episode. We learn really, like, Stewie is a pretty fucking bad guy for not giving the psychologist his pills just because he learned the real Stewie. It's crazy-ass fucking episode. But, yeah. Like, I feel like those episodes actually work. And another episode that is a real nothing episode is the Breaking Bad Fly episode. I personally think it's the best episode. I shit you not, it's one of like 3 Breaking Bad episodes I've seen. I'm not joking. It's one of 3 Breaking Bad episodes I've seen. But yeah, Breaking Bad I feel like gets away with the Fly episode because, well, it's fucking funny. That's the real reason why I feel like it works. It's because it's so stupid, but it's funny at the same time. It's a fucking fly. That's literally all it is. It's a fly. And there's nothing to it. It's literally, I'm pretty sure the episode's just Jesse Pinkman trying to kill a fly. That's why I personally think that episode works. And SpongeBob, there's a reason why, I compared My Hero Academia to shows like Family Guy and Breaking Bad, and not shit like SpongeBob or The Simpsons. And the reason being is because they don't have a continuous plot. Family Guy, fucking surprisingly, actually kind of does have a continuous plot. Simpsons, I think the most they get is if they kill a character, it's gone. And SpongeBob, the continuous shit was in the first season. Was in the first season where SpongeBob, meets Sandy, gets a job at the Krusty Krab, stuff like that. And SpongeBob definitely has those nothing episodes. But how SpongeBob gets away with those nothing episodes, like what I reference here, the Patrick and his daily routine episode, where literally the entire episode is Patrick just doing random shit. And I think an alarm clock goes off for like half the fucking episode. It gets away with that because, well, it's a kids show. Kids are going to be entertained by it. There's jokes throughout the episode. And the fact that the episode's only, I shit you not, 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute episode. Even though SpongeBob episodes are typically 10, that episode I think is like around 3 minutes because they couldn't really get anything to work with it. But, I feel like it's way better than My Hero Academia, and I would even say One Piece is nothing episodes. Because One Piece, according to my friend Ashton, who's a real huge One Piece fan, says there'll legit be 3 episodes straight of them on the fucking ocean just going. And stuff like that. But I feel like where One Piece gets it is because, like, they can make it entertaining. They can make it fun. One Piece will have 3 straight episodes based on 1 page, I'm pretty sure. And they could still make it pretty entertaining. My Hero Academia doesn't because the motherfucker just is training. He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything fun. It's boring and it's fucking slow. And here I say, now, I know comparing animated cartoons and sitcoms isn't really fair. So I'll even do other animes. as proof that My Hero Academia is one of the most boring-ass animes to exist. And there's a little issue with that, and that's the fact that I primarily watch slice of lives. But sometimes I do watch some other genres besides slice of lives. Spy X Family was a good example of that one. Because Spy X Family isn't really a slice of life. That one is, I think, like an action anime. And One Piece also isn't a slice of life. The reason I like slice of lives is because I just think they're fun. My favorite type of slice of life is the ones with characters going to school. That's why I like Beavis and Butthead so fucking much. Is because I can kind of relate to it. I think I literally made a tweet that was like that. That was like, the reason I like slice of lives is because I can relate to being a fucking loser who gets no hose. But yeah. And then I compared it to To Love Ru, which is a slice of life of, a guy who goes to school, aliens and shit. I would honestly recommend watching To Love Ru, and this is me describing To Love Ru right here. Sorry. To Love Ru, episode 1, we get introduced to I should have put a dash there to say that my line is over, or I just deleted that, but that's when my ADHD medication kicked in, and I completely forgot about it. The description describes it, And that's what happened. The description literally describes everything that happens in the episode. We learn Rito is a shy guy. And he's trying to, confess his feelings to his crush, which I forgot the name of. And then he, takes a bath or some shit, and we get introduced to... he goes home. A giant fucking meteor hits onto the floor. No one knows what the fuck it is. He goes home. We get introduced to his little sister, and then he takes a bath, and we get introduced to Lala, which is the alien girl. Episode 2, I legit don't know what happens in episode 2. I read the description of episode 2. It didn't fucking explain anything. Episode 3, I'm starting to realize that Google doesn't describe this anime very well. The reason why I wasn't describing the episodes personally was because I kind of forgot how these episodes went, and I just fucking refused to rewatch To Love Ru. I really want to rewatch it, but I've already watched it once in 2018. I'm not fucking doing it again. And then episode 4 is where the plot really starts, and we learn that Rito doesn't want to fucking marry this alien princess. He doesn't want to. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it might have been in the other episodes, but I forgot. But we learn a shit ton in To Love Ru. In almost every season of To Love Ru, almost every season we learn a new character. Moto To Love Ru. Not the OVA, but Moto To Love Ru, which is a different type of OVA. We get just a fucking baby. A baby just appears out of fucking nowhere that only gets described in the manga, which sucks ass. I think we also get learned to like Lala's fucking sisters and shit. And there's so much to it. It's too much, I would actually argue. I am kind of happy they stopped making episodes, but also really sad because they stopped making episodes in 2018 when I watched it. But yeah, To Love Ru is really good. I do recommend it. Yeah. To Love Ru is slow, and at least it fucking started before episode 5. Unlike My Hero Academia, episode 4, he's still training, and episode 5 is where the show actually begins. The 4th episode is my limit of when a show should start, and episode 5, he still doesn't know how to use it. Yeah, which I've already said. Yeah, and that is my personal limit. If the show still hasn't started from episode 4 and I'm not into it, it's not a good show. But I have made exceptions to it, and I think that comes up later. Shows with a storyline from episode to episode need to have a plot ready by episode 5 or it's too slow for me. That's why I like comedies. They typically get everything done before the 4th episode so they can get everything done. Mitsudo Moe. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Fuck it. Is an anime with almost no plot. We learn almost everything within the first 3 within the first episode, 3 girls with all unique personalities: asshole and hungry, scary and mysterious, and dumb but strong. And the teacher who gets hired to teach, which seems to be a common theme. I put that little, which seems to be a common theme, because that seems to be a really common theme with slice of life animes with characters going to school. Almost every single one of them, the first episode is a teacher gets hired. That's Mitsumoe, Kodomo no Jakun. I think some of the other ones that I list off as well. The first episode always seems to be the teacher getting hired, even though the teacher isn't really a main character. He kind of is, though. And it's weird. The teacher seems to be a side character that we get introduced to first, and then we get hit with the stereotypical 3 girls, which is almost all of them. They're the main characters. The teacher is kind of a side character that acts like a main character, because some of them focus on the teacher while others focus on the girls. Mitsumoe is one that focuses on the girls, but the teacher is kind of a big character. I think Kodomo no Jakun, the teacher is a main character. And then I describe Dragon Maid's episodes. First episode we learn about Toru and the fact that she's a dragon. We get introduced to Toru, we get introduced to the redhead girl, I forgot her name. She's literally in the name of it, Kobayashi. We learn about them. Kobayashi just lives a normal fucking life. She doesn't have a maid. She goes to work, programming and shit. Episode 2, and at the end of episode 1, we see Kana, the little one. And we find out, in episode 2, we find out about her. I don't know what the fuck her original intentions was. I'm pretty sure her original intentions was to kill her, until Toru was like, you didn't say the magic word. Not today. Yeah, it's fucking weird. In episode 3, we meet the other dragons, like the fucking water one, the huge fucking titty one, and that's her entire fucking gimmick. Even though she's like, they're all complicated characters. Toru is your base one. The water one, kind of acts like a boss. She's bossy. The big titty one, that's not just her character. She actually does have feelings. She actually does kind of care about people, especially with that fucking purple hair kid. I think his name was like Shada or some shit. Shoddy. But yeah, Shada, like, she legitimately does care about him and hopes that he's safe and is just doing everything she can to love him. Because I think her biggest fear is, like, getting kicked out or something. And episode 4, we learn more characters, because episode 4, Kana, the dragon lolly, goes to school. And, we get to learn about, I actually looked up her name, because I legitimately don't fucking know how to say her name. I looked up her name to cross-reference if I ever did review Dragon Maid. Riko Saikawa. That's her name. Yeah, that's, like, we get introduced to her and how she has kind of, like, she doesn't want other people, like, she really likes cute stuff. And she hates seeing cute things, like, hurt. Like, Kana. Like, if Kana, like, starts fucking crying or something, she wouldn't like it. And we learn more characters, and you realize there isn't much story to this anime. Dragon Maid doesn't really have much of a story. We don't really learn too much with it. We mainly learn characters. The 5th episode, the last episode, which, spoilers if you were actually going to watch Dragon Maid Season 1, which I think most Dragon Maid fans would have already watched Season 2. At the end of Season 1, spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you have time to click off. The last episode, we learn about her dad, who, like, is very overprotective of her and tries to take her back. And, all that. And then season 2 happens. The first few episodes we learn about a new dragon, which is just a fucking short, big titty girl. And, like, she gets a job or some shit, I don't know. These are all shows and animes that have started by the 4 episodes. By 4 episodes. If the 5th episode and the main character still doesn't know how to use his stuff, it's too slow and isn't good. That's like an intermission from my fucking thread. One Piece is also another show that is incredibly slow, but it's okay, because at least it's entertaining to watch. There are shows that I give the exception 3 to 4 episode rule to, One Piece being one of them, because at least it's entertaining, and I know it was slow going into it. And then I gave examples for other shows that I don't give that, I'll give it 3 to 4 episode chance, because I already know them. I either already know them, or I know that they won't follow those rules. I wasn't really clear on it. South Park, Simpsons, and the Mario and Sonic Deke cartoons, I was already familiar with them. I've already seen several episodes of them. I fucking grew up on South Park. South Park, Family Guy, Robot Chicken, because I was a pretty fucked up kid. I already knew them. Simpsons, I've watched a few episodes of it, but I never really did get into Simpsons because the first episode's a fucking Christmas episode, and it just isn't fun to watch. But, like, going past that episode, it does have its entertaining episodes. And then there's shows that I wasn't really familiar with because I've never seen them before, but I gave the exception to the rule because I know that they wouldn't follow that rule. Beavis and Butthead being one of them. Beavis and Butthead, like, I knew that I would like that show, but I just had never seen it. So when I watched Beavis and Butthead, sitting there, like, there isn't a plot. Each episode's 5 minutes, not counting the music video reactions. So Beavis and Butthead is literally a show that you just watch down and laugh at. There isn't much to a plot. Even the newer episodes, there isn't a plot to it. Because it's literally just... Beavis and Butthead episodes are structured like this. Hey, Beavis, look, it's a hot chick. Yeah, that's cool. Ow! And that's called a nut tap, dumbass. That's literally every Beavis and Butthead episode. Like, that's not a show that you just fucking sit down and binge watch. Unlike shows like Family Guy, Community, and most animes. And then there's also Tom Goes to the Mayor, which is made by Tim and Eric. And I knew Tim and Eric before I watched that show. I know their style. From Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, which I used to not be a fan of, but I'm now a huge Tim and Eric fan. I fucking love their shit. But Tim and Eric, I'm familiar with them. I know that they are sketch artists. I know they love doing sketches. So Tom Goes to the Mayor, I wouldn't give that 3 to 4 episode rule because I already knew I would have liked it. I've seen like a handful of clips of the show, and fucking Max was recommending it to me because I watched Tim and Eric, and I read Wikipedia sometimes when I was bored in school, and Tom Goes to the Mayor was one of the shows, and I was like, sure, I'll watch it. And that's how I learned about Tom Goes to the Mayor. I already knew I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And the Mario and Sonic Deke cartoons. The Mario and Sonic Deke cartoons, everyone's familiar with it. From Mama Luigi to the really weird fucking Sonic cartoons. But I already knew I would have watched it. The only Deke cartoon that I gave the 3 episode rule to was Sonic Underground, because I didn't know if I would like it or not. Because I was already familiar with the Saturday Night Sonic cartoon, I'm pretty sure is what it's called. Sat AM. Yeah, I'm already familiar with Sat AM and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Mario cartoons. I already know all of them. I have literally a box set of Adventures of Mario Brothers 3. And, I already knew I liked Mario World and Super Show. So the only one I gave the exception to that rule to was Sonic Underground, because I don't know if I like it. And I still don't know if I liked it, and I've watched like fucking 10 episodes of it. So I think I might like it, but I'm still not 100% sure. I don't think it's my style. And their first seasons are kind of meh, so that's mainly with South Park and Simpsons, and I think also maybe Beavis and Butthead. Their first seasons are meh, because they're, that the first seasons of a cartoon or show, they're still experimenting with stuff. And when the first season of a show is when they're, explaining shit, because the first season will be the shortest. Family Guy and Sunny in Philadelphia, which I don't think I mentioned this. Their first season was to mainly explain shit. Family Guy's first season, explains, the family. We get to learn about them. Brian as a character. Brian, why he's not treated like a dog most of the time. And, introducing Joe Swanson. So, that's the main reason why their first seasons are, very small, 7 episodes. Because they're still explaining shit. And they're still, trying to figure out the show. Then the second season's where it really starts. Same, Simpsons and South Park, the first seasons are experimental, and as it goes on, it gets better and better. And there are shows that I already knew I liked by the first episodes. These are shows that I've pretty much never seen before, but I liked it because the first episode was fucking perfect. Kodomo Jakun, which is where I explain that it's incredibly fucking sad. Kodomo Jakun's first episode made me already realize that it was fucking amazing. I already knew I was going to like it. I don't even remember where the fuck I found the show. I think I was just on my anime list and they just recommended it to me. But they were like, hey, check this out. I think you might like it. I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is actually really fucking good. Yeah, and I'll read this off real quick. Kodomo Jakun, which was incredibly sad, legit made me tear up. I thought it was a full-on comedy slice of life about 3 schoolgirls and one of them having a crush on the teacher. I was not expecting shit to make me cry. I did legitimately tear up watching it. It legitimately made me fucking sad. The closest I ever felt that sad was Family Guy, when Brian died. No joke. And I only felt a little sad because I never saw that episode when it aired. When the Brian died trilogy aired on TV, I wasn't there because that was 2013. I was still a little kid. 2015, I was 10. So, yeah. So I was allowed to watch Family Guy, but I was not there when Brian died. And when I watched the episode of Brian dying was, I think, around 2017, 2018, and that was because it played on the TV. They played that episode, I'm pretty sure. And I got introduced to the episode at my grandma's house. I watched it, and I was like, man, that's kind of sad, actually. And, made me tear up a little bit. Because, it didn't make me tear up, but I did, kind of felt bad. Because, a fucking Family Guy character, main Family Guy character fucking died. And even the squirrel kicking him didn't even cheer me up a little bit. And just, the very sad scene of, the entire family around Brian's deathbed at the vet, was pretty fucking heartbreaking. Unironically. It made me sad, but it didn't make me tear up. Unlike Kodomo Jakun, I have never teared up at a show before. Movies, sure. Clerks 3 fucking hit hard. I'm not gonna lie. I joke about Ashton crying at Clerks 3, but I'm not gonna lie. When I rewatched Clerks 3, because I was watching every single Jay and Silent Bob movie, it legitimately made me fucking tear up. Because I now know why everyone was, why. I knew all the characters. I know Jay and Silent Bob. I know what they meant by they were on a movie set twice. I met Randall. I know who the Randall character is. And it's a legitimately hard scene to fucking watch. It's legitimately fucking sad to watch Dante fucking die. Especially after watching so many fucking Jay and Silent Bob movies in a row. Not counting Chasing Amy or Dogma, because those are really fucking boring. Well, not Dogma. Dogma's really good. I just didn't have a copy at the time. And rewatching all the Jay and Silent Bob movies with Ashton, we skipped Chasing Amy and Dogma because, again, I don't have a copy of Dogma, but I do have Chasing Amy, to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Then we skipped Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, then Clerks 2, skipped Jay and Silent Bob the reboot, and then watched Clerks 3. And he was legitimately sad. But that was my third time watching Clerks 3. Second time was after I watched the first two Clerks movies. And I already was familiar with a handful of the movies. And by that time, I have never seen fucking Chasing Amy and Dogma, and watching Dante die is really fucking sad. Especially when you know the characters, and especially since, like, it takes fucking 20 years for the next fucking Clerks movie to come out, almost every fucking time. So I bet it really fucking hurt people when they watched it in the theater. Well, it wasn't in the theater. 2022. I don't think Clerks 3 officially released in theaters. I think it was streaming only. But still. And that was a movie. Not counting shows, I've never teared up at a show until I watched Kodomo no Jakun. Even Brian Griffin's fucking death, only made me a little sad. Not tear up sad. And Kodomo Jakun, the sad shit doesn't even happen on the last episode. That's what I'm talking about here. And it wasn't even the last episode like other Slice of Lives. It was like episode fucking 6, which is crazy. And Kodomo Jakun was like that. Fucking episode 6. I don't even think it was episode 6. It was definitely like in the middle of it though, where all the really fucking sad shit happens for some fucking reason. Like, why? Why is all this sad shit happening in the middle of it? That's not normal. Because I was expecting it to be like, other Slice of Lives, where Slice of Lives have this common tendency to have these, like, the saddest fucking endings for no reason. And that's always my least favorite episode of a Slice of Life, is the last episode. Because it's always weirdly fucking sad. Anyway, back to the subject. Like I say here, Kodomo Jakun, Mitsumoe was one of them. Mitsumoe, I was recommended by My Anime List from Kodomo Jakun, because they said Mitsumoe was a lot like that and it has a lot of the same stuff. I wanted to watch more animes like Kodomo Jakun, and they said Mitsumoe. So, they said it was a lot like it. There's three girls in, I think, 6th grade. In 6th grade, and, teacher, and quote unquote sexual stuff happens. It's that quote unquote. Kodomo Jakun, the character legitimately had a crush on the teacher. Mitsumoe, one of the fucking girls is just completely obsessed with breasts, and I think that's really funny, and can draw them really fucking well for no goddamn reason. And I find that just fucking hilarious to me. Yeah, Mitsumoe was one of them, and it's legitimately fucking hilarious, and it's one of the only Slice of Lives that I know that doesn't have the world's saddest fucking ending. Zaku-chan wants to hang out, and Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Both of those, I've actually still never watched, but I've seen clips of them. And I already know I'll like them. I just need to find time to actually sit down and watch them. Spy X Family was another one, even though it's not my genre. I really did like Spy X Family when I watched the first episode, or the second episode. And the only reason I liked it, the only reason I even found out about Spy X Family was because of the drama people were trying to start up with it. Like, oh, how come there's no black people in it? And everyone's like, well, maybe it's because it's Japan. But yeah, Spy X Family, I only found out about through, people complaining about it because it was like racist or some shit. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. Because, I like my genre. I like hearing about drama, about other shit, and like wanting to be a part of that drama. A good example of me doing that was watching Call Me Carson for 5 fucking hours straight on YouTube as a video during the time when Call Me Carson was fucking canceled. I'm not joking. There's a video of me watching Call Me Carson for 5 fucking hours straight. But yeah, like I like, you know, trying to figure out why people find this shit, you know, why people are trying to start drama, and I like being a little troll with the drama as well, being like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. When Pro Jared was canceled, I was like, Pro Jared, it's been like 6 months, when your next video coming out? While he was in the middle of being canceled for nonsense. But yeah, Spy X Family, I really liked it. I still need to finish it. I think I stopped watching it after they got the dog. After they got the dog, brought it home. I think that was like episode like 14 or something. I think that's when I stopped watching it. And I really do need to finish it, but I need to find time to finish it. Shitter's Baby, that one the one that's after Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro. That one, I only found out because I found a like Japanese streaming service on Xbox One, and that was like one of the animes on there, and I looked at the description, and the description I think said something about like this fucking guy. Hold on, let me see real quick. I'm gonna go to the Wikipedia for it. It's romance, so I don't really know how much I'll like it. But you know, from like the little preview of it, I thought it looked pretty cool. Yeah, here it is. The series about a teenage boy who becomes a caretaker of his 5-year-old cousin after their mother abandons her. Like holy shit. That seems fucking awesome. A popular high school boy who flirts with any girl he sees without thinking of their feelings. His life is turned upside down when one day his aunt abandons his 5-year-old cousin at his house, and he is now tasked with taking care of her for the time being. So yeah, he's like a romance guy, and he like is forced to take care of his cousin. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool, you know? That sounds like kind of neat, and I'm kind of curious with it. And I watched a little preview of it. I don't think the streaming service had a preview of it, but I watched a little preview of it, and I was like, it's okay. It's pretty good. It looks pretty good. And this is what I had to say for the Ghost of Molly McGee. Because after that, I had a lot of thing. And I shit you not, the Ghost of Molly McGee, I only knew about it from watching Disney XD while at a family cookout. There were kids there, and I got hooked, especially by the fact the ghost was voiced by Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That's what really brung me into it, was the fact that the fucking ghost was voiced by Master Shake. And I was like, I gotta fucking finish watching this shit. This shit's awesome. And then I have more. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I loved it since I was a kid. And I am currently rewatching it. I think I'm on like episode fucking like 10 of season 1. Azu Manga Dio, because of all the clips of it, fucking Instagram users got me hooked on that one. Watamote, Wata 10, and Hanamaru Kindergarten are all that were recommended to me from my anime list. Watamote, I don't actually know where I really found that one. I know it was from my anime list, though. And they were like, hey, you might be interested in this because you're a fucking loser. And the main character in this shit's also a fucking loser. And I'm like, okay. And I loved it. I fucking love it. Wata 10, I watched it because I saw, like, clips of it. I watched it and I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is epic. Not a fan of the last episode. And Hanamaru Kindergarten, I was recommended to that one because I watched Kodomo Jakun and Mitsumoe, and it's a lot like them. It's literally about the stereotypical there's three girls. The teacher gets hired by the school to teach them. You know, it's silly. There's even shows that others don't like. I even like shows that others don't like the Clerks cartoon in season 4 of Community. I still liked them because they were entertaining. I don't know where the kinda went, because they were kind of entertaining. Clerks cartoon, I could definitely see why people don't like it. It doesn't really have much substance. It's 6 fucking episodes, and it got fucked over in the end because of the network it aired on. And it doesn't help the fact that the second episode of both the DVD and the show itself was a fucking clip show, even though clip shows in cartoons and other shows, the clip shows in sitcoms and cartoons really only work when they have clips to actually take from. And even though some of the clips were made up, one of them was a repeated joke of them like climbing sideways and a plant falls. Yeah, it's not really that good, but I definitely liked it. I thought it was entertaining. I like the art style. I definitely have the episode that I don't like from it, which is the episode where Jay slips on a puddle and sues the Quick Stop. And season 4 of Community, apparently a lot of people did not like season 4 of Community, and it was considered like the gas leak season. And honestly, I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. All these shows I listed in this list of shit better than My Hero Academia are shows that people can watch and like. I would even say skit shows like Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, The Eric Andre Show, and Smosh have more of a plot than My Hero Academia. I'm sorry, My Hero fans, it's not good. Yeah. And that's the end of my long-ass thread of complaining about My Hero Academia, and this long-ass video of me, adding context to a lot of stuff, because Twitter's word limit is very short. The 100 letters is not enough. I don't even think it's 100. But, yeah. There's... My Hero Academia has nothing to it. It's not a good show. When the fucking 3rd and 4th episode is literally just him training, and almost nothing happens, that doesn't make it good. That makes it fucking boring. And that's me. That's me complaining about My Hero Academia for most likely an hour.